Little girl asks, why is she here? Millionaire single dad's incredible life-changing discovery. Daniel stood awkwardly at the charity event, drink in hand, surrounded by smiling faces and laughter. He felt out of place, a millionaire single dad cloaked in his own worries while others struggled to make ends meet. The sun shone down warmly, but ahead of him, the scene felt shrouded in darkness, especially when he heard his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, ask a blunt question that pierced through the buzz of the crowd: why is she here? His gaze followed hers, landing on Sarah, a weary single mother dressed in faded jeans, juggling her 2 kids. She wore exhaustion like a badge, yet her eyes held an astonishing spark of resilience. Daniel felt a tightening in his chest. What does she mean? He wondered, his mind grappling with the stark contrast of their lives. Lily, he began, but no words formed. How could he explain to her that some parents fought battles he could barely comprehend? Lily's innocent curiosity hung in the air, and through her wide eyes, Daniel began to see the truth he had shielded himself from. Moments like these felt rare. Work had consumed him, draining the joy from his days, leaving him missing her school plays and soccer games. He watched Sarah, her struggle woven tightly with hope, and he realized how much he had taken for granted. As he stood there, lost in thought, a gentle hand rested on his shoulder. It belonged to a neighbor, reminding him of the charity's mission, to support families struggling to keep their lights on. An urgency blossomed within him. He decided then and there to throw money at the problem, believing he could save hundreds with mere checks. After all, he had it. Despite his best intentions, his approach backfired. The town hall meeting 1 week later was rife with accusations. He found himself a target for anger. You think money solves everything? We need understanding, shouted a voice from the crowd. He shrank back, his heart racing, confused and embarrassed. Was he really so far removed from their reality? As Sarah took the mic, turmoil rippled through the room. She spoke from the heart, each word tempered with raw emotion, exposing fears of losing everything for her children. The community listened, the air thickening with empathy. Daniel felt something shifting inside him. How could I have been so blind? He left the meeting with more than just Sarah's voice echoing in his ears. He felt a weighty bond forming, fragile yet promising. He understood, then, that it wasn't just wealth he needed to bring to this community. It was connection, empathy, a shared purpose. Could he bridge this gap he had unknowingly widened? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Determined to make genuine connections, Daniel's mind raced with ideas: a summer camp for kids, a mentorship program linking wealthier families to those in need, a chance to help, and a way to inspire change. He reflected on the glaring emptiness in his life, and for the first time, he felt motivated to fill it with purpose and community spirit. He took a deep breath, looking out at a community that was ready to come together. Daniel felt ready, but could he really make a difference and finally redefine his place in a life that felt so secure yet solitary? The thought lingered heavy as he took a step into the unknown path ahead. The next morning, Daniel woke with a sense of urgency. He jumped out of bed, the sunlight slicing through the curtains and casting a warm glow. Lily was still asleep, her dreams dancing in the soft light. He knew he had to do something, but how could he translate that urge into action? After a quick breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast with Lily's favorite jelly, Daniel grabbed his phone and started making calls. He reached out to local businesses and charities, asking for meetings, gathering partners to support his ideas. Together, we can make a difference, he told them enthusiastically. The more he spoke, the more passion ignited in him. Later that week, he found himself back at the town hall, but this time he wasn't a passive observer. He was prepared to share his vision with the community. As he walked to the front, he felt a mix of excitement and fear. Would they listen? Would they see the sincerity in his heart? "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, his voice shaking slightly, "I know I've made mistakes. I thought money was the answer, but I see now that it's connection we need. I want us to create a summer camp, a place for our kids to learn and grow together, regardless of their backgrounds. A mentorship program where kids can learn from each other and from us." Murmurs danced through the crowd. He caught sight of Sarah sitting near the back, her brow furrowed in concentration. He could tell she was weighing his words carefully, and that made him more determined. "We'll also have workshops for parents, where we can come together to share experiences, learn from one another, and offer support. We're all in this together." As he spoke, Daniel saw faces soften, expressions shifting from skepticism to interest. Daniel's heart raced when he spotted Lily beaming proudly at him from the front row. That was his fuel, her belief in him. After the meeting, Sarah approached him with cautious optimism. "It's a good start, Daniel. A real start." Her voice held the edge of hope, and a flicker of tension that he sensed could either deepen their bond or cause further division. "But it's going to take more than just talk. It will take trust, and real effort." Daniel nodded, the weight of her words sinking in. He understood she had every reason not to trust him completely, and he wanted to earn her respect. "I'm committed, Sarah. I won just back out after the first hurdle. I need this just as much as you do." They shared ideas over coffee, discussing how they could arrange summer activities that would bring the community together. They brainstormed ways to reach families that felt isolated, offering scholarships, volunteer opportunities, and inviting them to participate. Even as they plotted ideas, Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that he was still walking on thin ice, balancing between two worlds. Weeks passed, and with Sarah's help, plans began to take shape. Flyers went out, community meetings were arranged, and slowly but surely, families began to show interest. Daniel felt a growing camaraderie flicker in the air, yet behind every smile, an undercurrent of doubt lingered. Could he truly earn their trust? Would Sarah ever see him not just as the millionaire, but as someone genuinely invested in their future? The more he connected with other families, the more he learned about their struggles, the late nights, the uncertainty, the fear. And with each story, Daniel felt something swell within him. It was empathy, growing stronger every day, pulling him closer to a community he never truly understood before. "Daniel, are you ready for the outreach program meeting next week?" Sarah asked during one late-night planning session, her eyes piercing through him. He hesitated, but only for a moment. "I will be," he replied, a newfound determination flaring in his chest. "I just need to face it all, don't I?" As the days flew by, anticipation built. Would this meeting bring them closer together, or shatter the delicate connection they were building? The thought sent a thrill down his spine. The day of the outreach program meeting arrived, and the town hall buzzed with energy. Daniel stood in front of the room, his heart racing. He straightened his tie, glancing at the crowd gathering, familiar faces mingling with ones he had never seen before. Each person carried their own story, their own fears and hopes. As Sarah settled into her seat at the front, she offered him an encouraging smile. It steadied him, pulling him back from the edge of his own anxiety. He took a deep breath, inhaling the mixed scent of fresh coffee and the lingering sweetness of baked goods from the local bakery. "Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight," he began, projecting warmth into the room. The buzz subsided, and all eyes landed on him. "I know things haven't always been easy. We're here to talk about ways we can support each other, to strengthen our community." He shared the vision he had cultivated over the past weeks. A summer camp that would bridge the gap between different neighborhoods, a place where joy and learning could breathe life into unfamiliar bonds. Excitement built as he painted a picture of kids laughing and learning together, but then, a small voice piped up from the back. A little girl, maybe 8 or 9, with bright red ribbons in her hair and a curious expression, stood up and asked, "Why is she here?" Her index finger pointed toward Sarah, who sat next to Daniel. A hush fell over the crowd, eyes darting from Sarah to Daniel. He knew this was an opening he had not anticipated. It could pull at the delicate threads he was weaving with the community. The little girl didn't seem to be questioning Sarah's worth, she seemed to be asking what her presence meant right now in this effort. With a calm he didn't quite feel, Daniel replied, "That's a great question, sweetheart. Sarah is here because she deeply cares about our community. She wants to help make it a better place for all of us, especially for kids like you." Lily, sitting in the front row, beamed up at him. A glimmer of pride flickered in Daniel's chest. His daughter understood. "And it's important," Daniel continued, looking directly at Sarah, who held his gaze, "that everyone who wants to help, gets a chance to be a part of this. We need each other." The little girl nodded, satisfied. The mood began to shift. More hands went up, more voices joined the conversation, and ideas filled the room like sunlight pouring through a window. As the meeting progressed, Daniel felt an unfamiliar warmth envelop him. He listened closely as people started sharing their ideas, their dreams. Some expressed concerns, and he welcomed every question with open arms, realizing each word was solidifying a connection. When it was Sarah's turn to speak, he watched her with admiration. She spoke with passion, clearly articulating the community's needs while also emphasizing collaboration. Her voice rang with authority, yet was tender enough to invite honesty. Each time she looked at him, a part of him unwound. After the meeting, people lingered. Daniel couldn't believe the faces that crowded around him, young and old, each finding their voice in a community pieced together by human connections. The initial doubt faced earlier had faded. Laughter bounced off the walls, and he felt hope blossoming. As they packed up the last of the refreshments, Sarah turned to Daniel, her eyes sparkling. "I didn't think this many would show up. You did well." Before he could respond, a girl approached, shy yet sincere. She tugged at Daniel's sleeve. "Can I help at the camp? My mom says it sounds cool." Daniel knelt, meeting her gaze. "Absolutely. We need all the help we can get." Her eyes widened with excitement, a smile breaking through her initial shyness. It was a small gesture. Yet, in this moment, Daniel felt a swell of realization. What had begun as an awkward endeavor to bridge gaps was morphing into something profound. But as he left the town hall, walking beside Sarah, an unsettling thought loomed. Could this newfound connection withstand the challenges ahead? At that moment, Daniel couldn't shake the unease. He was still that man with a turbulent past, trying to convince others of his sincerity. And he needed to prove it, especially to Sarah. "Are you ready for everything that's coming?" she asked, a hint of challenge in her voice. Daniel paused, considering his next words. "Ready or not, I need to find out." The uncertain path stretched before them, but he felt the pull of a new destiny, and he wasn't going to walk it alone. The days that followed the meeting were a whirlwind. Daniel's mind raced, filled with ideas and fears. Finally, a tangible project was taking shape, but with it came the weight of expectation. He tried to shake off the dread of possible failure, but it lingered, sharpening his focus on the details. Every morning, he made sure to wake before dawn, letting the quiet of the world ease his nerves. With a steaming cup of coffee in hand, he scribbled notes for the camp activities, volunteers, themes. Every idea was a tiny seed of hope, waiting for a chance to sprout. Lily, sensing her father's commitment, threw herself into planning too. "I want the camp to have a talent show," she declared one evening, bouncing on the couch like a spring. And a scavenger hunt." "Absolutely," Daniel replied, grinning at her boundless enthusiasm. It felt good having her join him in this vision. It was more than just a camp, it was a shared mission that taught the very values he hoped to instill in her. As Daniel mapped out the details, Sarah reached out, suggesting potential partnerships with local businesses. Every suggestion she made felt like another thread weaving them closer to the community they wanted to serve. She was always at the forefront, ready to help and support. This connection between them felt more significant than either of them had anticipated. One rainy afternoon, Sarah stopped by to brainstorm ideas. The sound of raindrops drummed on the window, providing a cozy backdrop as they worked. With a notebook spread out before them, laughter and shared stories spilled out, nurturing their connection. Then, out of nowhere, Sarah's demeanor shifted. "Daniel, how do you really feel about everything? You seem different since the meeting." He hesitated, the words dangling in the air for a moment. "I guess it's because I feel I've finally found something worthwhile. I've been so lost for a long time. This is my chance to do better, to be better." Her gaze softened, revealing understanding. "You know, it's okay to be scared. But you're not alone in this. Remember how each of us felt tonight? Everyone wants this to work." Daniel smiled, warmed by her belief. But beneath it, doubt prickled at him. Did he truly have what it takes to lead this initiative? What if it spiraled into chaos, dragging everyone down with him? Before he could answer his own doubts, a loud knock interrupted their conversation. Daniel opened the door and found the little girl from the meeting, wide-eyed and clutching a colorful flyer for the camp. She had come to help him promote it, her interest palpable. "Mr. Daniel. My friends want to come. Can we make signs?" His heart swelled. "Absolutely. We can make the best signs together." Was it even possible to envision a camp built on the laughter of eager kids, led by a father haunted by his past? The little girl grabbed his hand, pulling him outside into the drizzle. "Come on," she said, laughter bubbling as she raced down the sidewalk. With every step, Daniel was reminded of the innocence and adventure that lay ahead. As he sprinted after her, Sarah watching from the doorway with an amused smile, he felt a flicker of hope ignite in his chest again, but just as he finally began to believe that they were moving towards something meaningful, doubts crept back in, a nagging fear gnawing at him. He needed to be careful. As he returned, panting and exhilarated from the unexpected race, Daniel turned to see Sarah deep in thought. "What's wrong?" he asked. She looked up, the laughter fading from her eyes. "What if we can't bring everyone together? What if we don't create the change we want to see?" Her question hung heavy in the air, like the thick clouds overhead. Daniel could feel the weight of her uncertainty. What if their dreams for the camp unraveled, leaving them with nothing but disappointment? In that moment, he realized they both had a long way to go. Could they, with their troubled pasts, really weave a community together? The journey stretched infinitely ahead of them, but with a new determination in his heart, Daniel took her hands. Gently. "We'll figure it out together." The uncertainty they faced loomed larger than life, but as they stood there, hands clasped tightly, the flicker of hope ignited once more. But what would happen when real obstacles emerged and the fragile bonds they built faced the test of reality? The days rolled on, each one echoing the uncertainty that wrapped around Daniel and Sarah like a thick fog. Despite the smiles they shared and the plans that took shape, anxiety gnawed at him. Every cheerful conversation about the camp was wrapped with the unresolved question, what if they couldn't pull it off? Lily, armed with excitement, threw herself into every discussion. "What color should the banners be, Dad? Pink? Blue? Red?" She wasn't just dreaming, she was building a vision, one that brightened the shadows lurking in Daniel's mind. "Let's go with a rainbow," he suggested one evening, kneeling beside her as she pored over sketches. Her laughter rang out, bright and pure, reminding him of the joy they sought to create for others. But then, at night, when silence replaced the laughter, his doubts returned, looming larger. Thoughts of looming failures circled like vultures. What kind of message would it send to his daughter if he faltered now? He needed to be strong, not just for the camp, but for her. One Sunday afternoon, with the sun casting a golden hue, Daniel decided to take a break from the planning. He and Lily ventured to the park, searching for inspiration in the laughter and chaos of children at play. As they strolled, she pointed out groups of friends eagerly playing tag and sharing secrets. "See that, Dad? That's what we want. Kids having fun together." "Yeah," he replied, forcing a smile even as his heart felt heavy. Would those moments come to life through their efforts? Would the camp create lasting bonds just like those kids had? Suddenly, Sarah appeared, her presence igniting a spark of relief. Hey! I thought I might find you here. Hey! Just enjoying a sunny day, Daniel said. He could tell she was also searching for that same spark of hope they kept making vows to cultivate. As they chatted about the camp, a sudden hush fell over the park. They turned to see a large group of kids standing together with their parents. They were whispering, some pointing at Lily, who was oblivious to the attention. A tiny girl in the front spoke up, her voice loud and firm. Why is she here? Every adult seemed to hold their breath. Daniel's chest tightened, his heart racing. Was this innocent question going to unravel everything they had worked for? Before he could respond, Lily, the bright spirit she was, turned around with a smile. We're going to have the best camp ever. You can all come. Her enthusiasm cut through the tension like a bright ray of sunshine. The little girl's eyes grew wide. Really? Yeah. You can sign up and bring friends. Lily exclaimed, bouncing on her feet. Just like that, any tension melted away as a few children ran to her, curious about the camp. As he watched Lily embrace those kids so easily, Daniel felt something inside him shift. Maybe, just maybe, hope wasn't as elusive as he had thought. But as the day progressed, new challenges loomed. Sarah's phone buzzed repeatedly with calls and messages about potential partnerships, each one tinged with urgency. Daniel, we need to act fast. The businesses are interested, but they want to see how we plan to engage everyone, she said, her eyes filled with a combination of excitement and apprehension. Fear crept back in, a whisper urging him to retreat. What if we disappoint them, Sarah? What if we get their hopes up? Lily looked between them, sensing the crack forming in their hopeful facade. We can do this, right? All of us together. Just like the kids playing at the park. Her innocent faith hung heavily in the air. Daniel glanced at her and then at Sarah. Could they really bring together the diverse community they had envisioned? What if they couldn't create the unity they wanted, or worse, what if they disappointed the very children they aimed to help? He squeezed Lily's hand, feeling her warmth radiating hope. You're right. It's time to pull our ideas together and show everyone what this camp can be. But as they turned back towards the park, he could see uncertainty etched on Sarah's face. Would their devotion be enough to ensure they didn't fall short? Worries echoed amongst the laughter surrounding them, leaving him to wonder, as the stakes grew higher, would their fragile hopes be strong enough to weather the storm ahead? Daniel's mind raced as they walked back into the park, the cheerful sounds of children echoing around him, but his heart felt heavy. He stole a glance at Sarah, whose brows were knitted together in thought. It wasn't just about the planning anymore. There were real lives on the line, real kids who might come to their camp. What if they couldn't make it work? Lily chatted away, oblivious to the weight that hung between her parents. Her bright voice was like a balm against their doubts. Can we have a slip and slide, Dad? And games with lots of water? Of course, Daniel managed to say, but the enthusiasm felt forced. Next to him, Sarah picked up her phone again. She tapped at the screen, reading messages that likely held both good news and deadlines. Her eyes flickered with a spark of determination, and for a moment, Daniel felt a rush of unity. They were in this together, after all, but the spark faded quickly as he considered the enormity of what they were trying to create. It wasn't just a camp, it was a chance for kids from different backgrounds to come together. To laugh, to play, to feel safe. The stakes felt impossibly high. Watch this, you'll love it. Lily said, suddenly sprinting toward a group of children playing on the swings. Daniel felt a flicker of pride as she leaped onto one of the swings, pumping her legs to soar higher into the air. She's amazing, isn't she? Sarah's voice drew him out of his spiral of worries. She just connects with everyone. Yeah, she does, he replied, watching Lily call out to other kids that had come over. They were standing nearby, their eyes wide with curiosity about the camp she had just announced. I think we should hold an open house next weekend, Sarah said suddenly, her voice infused with new energy. Get everyone involved. Let them experience the ideas we have. The businesses are interested, but what if? Daniel faltered. What if it's all too soon? What if no one shows up? Lily whipped around, her ponytail flying through the air. No way. They will all come. Right, Dad? Her faith was infectious, but it felt like a fragile glass orb balancing on a razor's edge. Okay, let us have an open house, Daniel finally conceded, his voice steadier than he felt. But we need to make sure we have everything ready. We need activities, volunteers. I can talk to the schools. Sarah added, her eyes lighting up with possibilities. This could work. We can reach out to local businesses, sponsors, food, anything we can offer. Lily bounced with excitement. Can we have a big sign? With balloons? That sounds like a great idea. Sarah replied. We can deck the whole place out. Make it feel like a party. But as they planned, unease nestled back into Daniel's gut. The commitments piled up heavier, and the possibility of failure glowered at him like a storm cloud. What if everyone said they would come, but on the day, it was just the three of them standing among empty chairs? Remember, he said, success isn't just about numbers. It's also about the impact we'll have on the kids who show up. Right. Lily's voice rang out. And that's gonna be a lot of kids. They'll have fun and make new friends. Just like me. He wished he shared her optimism. He watched her twirl with glee, her face beaming with pure joy, and felt a surge of protectiveness. It was for her. Whatever happened, he wouldn't let her down. With newfound determination, they began sketching ideas in the sand, seemingly carefree yet laden with the weight of their dreams. Daniel glanced back at Sarah, who was now scrolling through her phone furiously. What are you finding? I'm seeing if there's a way to get personalized invites to the local schools. Let us make sure each child feels included. It starts with them knowing they're needed. Okay, Daniel nodded. But maybe we should think about a backup plan. Before she could respond, Lily jumped back into the discussion, her eyes sparkling like the sun. It'll be amazing, won't it? Everyone coming together. He hesitated as she gushed. He's just about to speak when the sound of a distant shout broke the excitement. A voice pierced through the air. Hey! You there! All heads turned toward a group of older kids approaching them, their expressions unreadable. Daniel felt his heart race again. What did they want? As they walked closer, something in their demeanor felt off, and Daniel braced himself. Were they going to challenge Lily? Would this moment unravel everything? His gaze darted to Sarah, then back to Lily, who was still beaming, unblinking in her optimism. But in that instant, he realized something. Maybe this wasn't just about the camp anymore. Maybe it was about teaching them all to stand tall. What would these kids say? Would their voices crush Lily's joy, or would they add to it? In that moment, the future felt precarious. And all Daniel could do was hold his breath and hope they would make it through. The older kids came to a stop a few feet away, their presence looming larger than their years. Daniel could feel Sarah tense next to him. He turned to Lily, whose excitement flickered uncertainly in the face of this unexpected attention. Hey, what's up? One of the older boys said, leaning back against a tree, arms crossed, his demeanor casual but not unfriendly. Lily, still swinging slightly on her swing, beamed as she took a step forward. We're planning a summer camp. It's going to be awesome. You should come. The boy raised an eyebrow, a half-smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. A camp? What's so special about it? It's for all kids. Lily said enthusiastically, her voice bubbling with passion. We'll have games, crafts, and even a slip-and-slide. The others exchanged glances, the moment hanging in uncertainty. Daniel felt his heart pounding against his chest, a mix of pride and terror. Lily was opening the door wide, but would they walk through? Why is she here? A girl with long blonde hair stepped forward. Her eyes narrowed slightly, as if judging Lily's boldness. "Isn't this for, like, little kids?" Daniel's skin prickled. He felt the words like barbs, aimed at his daughter. Would they poke holes in her confidence? He took a small step closer to them, ready to intervene if needed. "No, it's for everyone," Lily insisted, her small frame unwavering in front of the group. "Anyone who wants to have fun and make friends can come." "Right, but why would we want to come to something for babies?" The boy interjected, chuckling lightly, but the laughter didn't quite reach his eyes. Daniel felt a twinge of anger mixed with concern. A wave of protection surged through him for Lily, but he also recognized how important it was for her to stand up for what she believed in. "Hey!" Daniel stepped forward, grounding his voice. "It's not just for little kids, and it's not about age. This camp can be a place for everyone, to connect, to play, to grow. Maybe you all could help out. Wouldn't it be cool to show the younger kids how to enjoy summer?" The older kids exchanged unsure looks. Daniel held his breath, hoping for a shift, a change. "I guess it could be fun," muttered the girl, her keys swinging slightly in her hand, betraying a sense of uncertainty. "But what if it's lame?" "It won't be lame." Lily's voice resonated with genuine excitement. "We're making it fun. And you can be a part of it. You could help plan the big games." "Games, huh?" The older boy's interest seemed piqued. He nudged his friends, who began to lean closer. "What kind of games?" Daniel felt a chill of hope wash over him. This could turn around. This could open doors. Lily grinned wide, rubbing her hands together as if she had an important secret. "Water balloon fights. Tug of war. And a big obstacle course." Daniel watched as the older kids began to genuinely consider the idea. Their shoulders relaxed, and the initial coolness thawed into something warmer. "Okay, we could come help," the girl said, shrugging, but there was a spark of challenge in her eyes. "But only if you're not total dorks about it." "Deal!" Lily shouted, jumping up and down. "I promise you it'll be fun." As the group began to chat and laugh, Daniel felt the tension melt away. The laughter echoed around the park like music, wrapping everyone in a blanket of ease. Maybe this wasn't just about the camp or making plans. Maybe it was about connection, about all kids finding common ground despite their differences, but just as Daniel's heart lifted, he heard a frustrated murmuring behind him. Sarah had been watching with a mixture of pride and worry, and now she tapped her phone, visibly distracted. "Sarah, what is it?" he asked, and her eyes widened. "It's my sister," she said. "She needs us. There's a family emergency. I have to go." An icy knot formed in Daniel's stomach. "Now. I'm sorry." Sarah looked torn, glancing between Daniel and Lily, who were still buzzing with excitement. "I'll call you as soon as I can. Please, keep things going here." Before he could respond, she was already moving briskly towards the parking lot, leaving. Daniel with the noise of children laughing and shouting all around him, yet the laughter felt far away now. He swallowed hard, feeling suddenly alone. Would everything still fall into place without her? How could he keep this newfound excitement alive in Lily while managing it all himself? And as he stood there, the thrill of possibility hanging heavy alongside uncertainty, he heard Lily call out, "Dad, it's going to be great, just wait and see." His heart tugged. "I hope so, kiddo," he replied under his breath, tension and hope warring within him. But as the clouds thickened above, Daniel couldn't shake the feeling that the real work was just beginning. What could go wrong next? Just then, a shout erupted from the group of older kids, and Daniel's attention snapped back. What if we made our own team for the camp? Daniel's heart raced. Just when he thought things might fall apart, they might come together again in unexpected ways. But how sustainable could this excitement be? Would they all rally together, or would the weight of their differences tear it all apart? Determined to be the pillar his family needed, he called out, "Let us talk teamwork, then. Let us make this count." But deep down, he knew it was just the beginning of new challenges yet to come. The excited chatter of the group washed over Daniel like waves, pushing away the chill of uncertainty. He leaned into the energy, allowing himself to be swept up in it. Lily stood at the forefront, her eyes sparkling, her spirit a beacon for the others. It was amazing how quickly the tension had shifted. Just moments ago, they were almost adversaries, now, they were brainstorming camp activities. "What if we do a campfire night?" the boy suggested, his voice gaining enthusiasm. "We can tell ghost stories." Lily's face lit up, her confirmation already bubbling on her lips. "Yes. And we can roast marshmallows. My dad makes the best s'mores." Laughter erupted, but it wasn't the forced chuckles of a cynical crowd, it was genuine delight. Daniel couldn't help but smile, feeling a warmth spread through him. Maybe this camp wouldn't just bring the kids together, but it would also help heal the quiet fractures in his own life like the gaping one left by Sarah's sudden departure. Okay, Daniel interjected, trying to keep control of the swirling ideas. "Let us take it one step at a time. Who's in charge of planning what?" The kids exchanged glances, and after a moment's pause, Lily shouted, "I'll organize the games. I can get the food. My mom is a great cook." The girl with long blonde hair offered, now fully engaged. "I'll handle decorations. We can make it look awesome." Another boy piped up, his brow furrowing in determination, the sense of teamwork blossomed like spring flowers. Daniel leaned back a bit, thankful to see it unfold. He was relieved, but a thought nagged at the back of his mind: could they keep this momentum going? With Sarah gone, who would be there to guide them with a steady hand? Then he noticed Lily standing taller. She had a way of drawing others in, lighting up the shadows a bit like sunlight piercing through thick clouds. But as she spoke to the group about the future of their camp, he saw something else: a flicker of doubt in her eyes. "Dad," she said quietly, a note of concern breaking through the joy. "What if they don't keep coming? What if they think it's dumb later?" Daniel's heart dropped. He knelt down to her level, forcing a smile through the unease. "Kiddo, do you remember how you felt when you first started? How exciting it was to believe in something new." "Yeah," she said, her lips twisting into a faint smile. "Then remember that feeling. You just have to show them how fun and awesome everything can be. They wouldn't have joined in if they weren't at least a little interested." He brushed a loose strand of hair behind her ear. Her smile widened, but he could sense the fear just beneath the surface. It echoed his own uncertainty. "Okay, let us focus," Daniel said, redirecting his attention to the group. "How about we break into small teams? We can make lists and settle on a meeting time for next week to keep things going." As he spoke, enthusiasm buzzed in the air, vibrant like summer bees busy at work. The older kids immediately connected, chattering as they began to draw plans across the playground, and Daniel felt a flicker of hope igniting again. Yet, through the laughter and chatter, Daniel's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out, the screen illuminating with a message from Sarah. His heart sank as he read it. "Everything's more complicated than I thought. I might be tied up for a while. I'm sorry, I can't be there after all." His throat tightened. How could he navigate this alone? Could he truly lead Lily and this new group of kids without Sarah's steady support? He looked back at Lily, her spirit infectious, yet he felt a weight of responsibility pressing down on him. "Dad?" Her voice pulled him from his thoughts, bringing him back to the moment. "Yeah, sweetheart. Are we going to have a real camp, even if it's just us?" "Absolutely. We're going to make it amazing," he reassured her, but uncertainty crawled into his bones. As the children giddily brainstormed more ideas, Daniel's lips curled into a half-smile. The sun began to dip lower in the sky, the shadows of the park stretching long. He couldn't ignore the growing tension in his chest, though. Because as much as he hoped for success, a gnawing fear clung to him. Could they really pull this off, with everything else looming over their heads and the world spinning in unpredictable directions? The sounds of laughter faded a bit, replaced with a whisper of his inner doubts. In the background, a sudden shout rang out, drawing everyone's attention. Wait! What happens if it rains? Daniel's heart raced again, this time not from excitement, but dread. Would rain wash away their plans, or was it a sign they needed to prepare for the storm ahead? That question lingered in the charged air, urging them to move forward into the unknown, ready to face challenges together or risk losing everything. The laughter danced through the air, but Daniel couldn't shake the concern that had settled in his gut. Rain had always been a topic of dread, especially during plans that revolved around outdoor fun. He glanced at Lily, who was still bubbling with excitement, her laughter ringing out like chimes in the wind. But a moment of silence settled over the group, catching the tremor of anxiety that had seeped in. "Let's not worry about the rain right now," Daniel said, forcing cheerfulness into his voice. "We'll find a way to make it work. If it rains, we'll just move things indoors. Can we still make s'mores inside?" Lily shot back playfully, her smile gleaming with determination. "Of course. Nothing can stop us from enjoying some gooey marshmallows," he replied, feeling his spirit lift a little as he added, "and we can tell ghost stories under blankets if we have to." The tension melted slightly. Encouraged by their leader's enthusiasm, the kids redirected their focus. They picked up their plans again, flipping from concern to creativity, their young minds spinning possibilities as they mapped out the camp activities. While they discussed the logistics, Daniel scanned the park. The fading sunlight cast orange and pink hues across the sky, making him realize how much he missed moments like this, with laughter ringing, friendships forming, bonds strengthening. He couldn't lose that, not when it felt so close again. As the kids debated which ghost stories they'd tell, Daniel's phone buzzed again. Another message blinked on the screen from Sarah, this one sharper and colder. "I wanted to help, but I can't. You'll be fine without me." The puncture of her words stung. Fine. Was he really fine? He had imagined her by his side during moments like this, guiding Lily and the others. Now, it felt like he was adrift in stormy seas without a lifeboat. "Dad? Are you okay?" Lily's voice cut through his clouded thoughts again, her brows knitted with concern. "I'm just thinking about all the fun we're going to have." She studied him for a heartbeat, as if trying to sift through what lay beneath his smile. "Okay. Let's keep planning." The determination in her voice put a small weight into his chest. He wasn't just fighting for himself anymore, he was working for her sake, too. "All right, let's make sure to have the cupcakes and icing ready for our games. Who thinks frosting should go on cupcakes before we play?" "Definitely!" shouted a boy from the back. As excitement mounted once more, Daniel felt that nagging doubt wash away, even just for a moment. They were having fun, and perhaps they would find a way through the darkness together. But as the evening deepened into twilight, Daniel took a deeper breath, pushing down the uncertainties. "Listen, everyone, before we wrap up for today, let us talk about challenges." The chatter faded to an attentive silence, eyes turning to him. "Things might not go as planned, but if everything looks blurry, if rain falls or things change, we all stick together, okay?" "Yeah." The kids replied in unison, their voices strong and united. The warmth of their collective spirit filled the space around them, and a sense of belonging blossomed within Daniel. Yet, as they packed up for the day, an unsettling thought nudged at the back of Daniel's mind. There was still more to come. As a parent, he wanted to protect Lily from everything, but deep down, he wondered if he was prepared for the difficulties ahead. Would this new venture really bond them all, or would it all come crumbling down? He ushered them towards the park exit, glancing back once more, a stale breath in his lungs. And as they turned to leave, a figure caught his gaze, a woman standing just beyond the playground, her silhouette cloaked in twilight. Daniel's heart raced. Was she a parent? A stranger? Or was it someone from his past? The question lingered, heavy and electric, beckoning him to explore what faded shadows were creeping into their lives. The summer camp was just days away, and tension bubbled beneath Daniel's surface. With each passing hour, doubts clung tighter. He was steering a big ship with too few hands. Without Sarah's steady presence, uncertainty gnawed at him. But he couldn't think that way. Not now. Not when so many kids were counting on them. The buzz of children filled his home as they planned and prepared, crafting colorful signs and decorations. Lily blazed through the house, her energy infectious, but even her radiant spirit couldn't fully chase away the anxiety lurking just beyond their door. The little girl from the park, and the group of older kids, those faces were etched in his mind. They were more than just names now, they were dreams woven with fears. "Dad," Lily said one evening, holding up a paper with a chaotic jumble of doodles. "What do you think of this design for the camp logo?" She was hopeful, her eyes shining bright. "It's perfect, sweetie," Daniel replied, crouching down to her eye level. "It's colorful and fun, just like you." Lily grinned, the weight of the world not yet settled on her small shoulders. For her, this camp was about adventures, friendship, and laughter. But for Daniel, it felt heavy, like a weight he couldn't shake off. What if it all fell apart? That afternoon, while organizing supplies, he got another message from Sarah. "Still busy on my end. Keep pushing through. You've got this." Her words echoed doubt more than encouragement. Did she believe in him? Did she care to check in on them really? His heart raced, he didn't feel like he got this. But there was a fire in him, fueled by Lily's excitement and the hope of a community ready to bond. Days turned into a blur of final preparations. Then came the morning of the camp. The dawn broke, golden light filtering through the trees like confetti tossed into the air. With traffic cones marking the way and balloons adorning every entry, he could hardly believe this moment was finally happening. Families began to trickle in, laughter filling the air as they shifted from apprehension to excitement. Daniel felt his heart lift, his spirits igniting with each arriving smile. This was what they had worked for. "See, Dad?" Lily tugged on his hand, her voice light with joy. "Everyone is here." But as the sun climbed higher, a sudden cloud rolled in, and Daniel's stomach knotted once more. What if it rained? The thought lingered. Would a little shower ruin their plans? Just then, Lily squeezed his hand tighter. "Let us show them what we've got." With that, she dashed away to greet the kids, her laughter blossoming like brightly colored flowers scattering in the wind. Daniel stared after her, all washing over him. He realized then that he couldn't let his fears hold him back. They were there to create joy, and he had to lead with that spirit. The crowd began to form, eager faces packing the open field, and Daniel stepped forward, heart racing. He cleared his throat. "Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Together, we're going to have a blast." Cheers rose up, warming him as he continued, "It doesn't matter if you're big or small, this camp is for all of us. We've got games, food, and we're going to make memories that last." With every cheering voice, his doubt began to fade, replaced by the tangible excitement in the air. The cooperation of the kids was effortless. They broke into teams, ideas bouncing around like fireflies caught in the twilight. As laughter echoed louder, drumming up a sense of belonging. Daniel turned, searching the crowd for a familiar face. Sarah's. But she wasn't there. An empty spot formed in his heart. There were moments he wished she could share with him, but he refused to let that dampen today's energy. Then a gust of wind rippled through the crowd, thick clouds rolling in fast. Suddenly, thick drops of rain splattered against the grass. The atmosphere thickened with tension, and he saw concern wash across the family's faces. "All right, everyone. He called out, forcing a smile past the budding anxiety. Let us not let a little rain ruin our fun. Everyone. To the canopy. As parents and kids dashed towards the awning, Daniel felt the electricity of their collective spirit rise. Against all odds, people helped each other, children giggling and shouting. They twisted and turned, not afraid of the water sweeping around them. The laughter bubbling up was contagious. Seeing Lily embrace others ignited something deep within him. It wasn't just about success, it was about connection, shared warmth, and love. The storm was releasing a joy he hadn't known he needed. As the rain pattered above, everyone came together under the canopy, young and old, familiar faces and new friends. They started singing songs, telling stories, and sharing hopes for the future filled with dreams. Daniel joined in, feeling the swell of belonging rise higher by the second. Then someone shouted, "Let us play a game." Out of nowhere, Lily jumped back into the spotlight, arms raised. Who wants to do the slip and slide? Cheers erupted, lighting the way through the stormy clouds. Suddenly, Sarah appeared at the edge of the crowd, soaking wet but smiling. Her eyes gleamed, filled with a realization. What have you started here, Daniel? A flood of warmth pushed against his chest. We brought everyone together. And in that moment, hope flared brightly, lighting up even the darkest of fears. When they squeezed past each other, he felt a weight lift. Trust was here, no matter how much rain fell in between. From that day on, camp days became filled with vibrant brushstrokes of memories, unity stitched through laughter and love. As the sun set that evening, Daniel looked around at the smiling faces, blinking against the storm that had passed. He realized that sometimes, it takes a little rain to wash away the doubts and unleash a treasure of joy deep inside, and he knew then whatever lay ahead, they were ready to face it together. Now here's your chance to join in this journey. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about the ending, let's hear you. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.